Sorry? Yeah.
We usually record our Connect and Learn series so that we can share with people who are not privileged to join us, and we sometimes will share with people who join. All right, when it's 10 minutes past, I think 10 is sufficient enough time of grace. I will call on one of our own, Ms. Moji Raufo, to introduce the speaker. Okay, my younger sister has joined us as well. She's Adeola Adeoye. Deo, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Morning.
Morning.
Let me recognize Mr. Oluwaseun Adesoro. Say he's a brother to me as well. Welcome, Mr. Seun.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, sir.
MCK Mounts.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, my lord.
Welcome, sir.
I hope they won't sanction me too for joining because you are the one presenting today. I've heard a lot.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm happy.
All right, good morning, everybody. We need to respect people's time. Waiting indefinitely will be punishing those who have chosen to join us early, and that will not be fair. I want to welcome you all to the May edition of our Connect and Learn. I call on Mrs. Moji Sola Raufo to please introduce our guest presenter for today. Moji, over to you, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mojisola Raufo. Reverend Olabode Daramola is a licensed clinical psychologist and managing partner at MSA Consult. His wealth of experience spans all kinds of telecommunications and health sector and client management, quality assurance, training and development, and general administration. He consults for schools, multinational, government, and non-profit organizations. Reverend Olabode is interested in research, eclectic understanding, and modification of human behavior within and outside the work environment. He gathered clinical experience at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, and he is currently a PhD researcher in the University of Lagos. His current scope of work includes clinical assessments, psychodiagnostics, psychotherapy, and also learning and development. He understands and manages clients with anxiety, depression, emotional trauma, phobia, stress, and substance dependence. Reverend Olabode is an avid volunteer, a COVID-19 psychosocial responder for the Lagos State government. He is a member of the Ethics and Research Committee, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Ikeja, and also facilitated training organized by the Lagos State Ministry of Health. He is a member of the American Psychological Association Nigerian Psychological Association, Nigeria Association of Clinical Psychologists, Learning and Development Network International, and the National Association of Cognitive Behavioral Therapists in the UK. He is a non-stipendiary priest in the Diocese of Lagos West Anglican Communion. He serves as the social chaplain for the Boys and Girls Brigade, managing over 1,000 boys, girls, and adults. He is married with 3 lovely children. And the note of this, I've known Reverend Daramola during my MSc period, and I'm sure by the time we go home today, we will go home with a good paperwork and well refreshed. Thank you very much. Sarah, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mojisola Raufu. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Good morning, everybody. My colleagues, family members, friends, church members. I'm indeed delighted to be in your midst this morning, and we sincerely appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you very much. Let me sincerely appreciate the Venerable Adelowo Adeshina, who is the convener of the Connect and Learn series for sages and scribes. The Venerable Adelowo is my mentor, is an encourager. I call him my go-to person, a thought leader, and my quality assessor. I know that at this stage, in psychosocial development stage in psychology, we call this stage the generativity stage. His interest is giving back and supporting the society. He has a great agenda for the future generation, and he encourages a lot of young people to do well with themselves. So I'm very fortunate to meet him. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. For everyone joining us this morning, I'm hoping that this engagement will be worth the time. I'm hoping that it wouldn't just be a rhetoric, but it will equally provide healing for those who may be hurting. So let me ask you this morning, what are your expectations? Why did you join on a Tuesday morning at 11 a.m.? Why are you here? You may just want to go to the chat box and just type something in. Why did you decide to join? I need to be sure that you are there with me. You can hit your chat box and just pop in something. What are your expectations? Eniola Youthman is also a colleague, a clinical psychologist. Why are you here? Can somebody go to the chat box and just type in something? Why did you join me? Because I also have my own expectations. I'd like to hear from you. Why did you join? Okay. Abiodun Olofin is saying to learn something new. And I hope you will do. Do we have any other person? Why did you join us? To learn something new. Okay, I equally have my own expectation. Oh, somebody said because you are speaking. Oh, Dr. Fisayo Adebi, that's my brother-in-law. My pastor that said because you are speaking. Thank you very much, sir. I'm glad you are willing to listen to me speak. Ayotola Adebi, oh, that's my sister. Here to support as well, has to be blessed. You will definitely be blessed. I also have my own expectations. I thank you all for joining. Mojisola Ogunkoya, thank you very much. She's a grief expert. She's saying to learn more. Moji is saying to learn more. Thank you very much. And I hope your expectations shall come into manifestation to return back with knowledge. Yes, Adesoro, thank you very much. And I also have my own expectations, and they are here. My expectation is that these engagements will lead to learning. That's a relatively permanent change in behavior, because wellness is a combination of knowledge and action. So whatever knowledge we're able to gain here will be very much important if we put them to practice. And I'm hoping it will also lead to reactions from us, in speaking, in contribution, in asking questions when the time comes. And I'm hoping that it will lead to wellness and a flourishing life for every one of us. So I appreciate you all for joining him. And the food is ready. What do we have for us today? The topic is wellness, care for caregivers. And so the food is ready. What are we going to eat? From the introduction, I'm going to be telling you who a caregiver is. Why should we even bother? Because there are some people who answer the name caregivers. Probably they should be the only one here. But some of the reasons why you should be here, I'll let you know. So what is wellness? Health versus wellness. We're going to be looking at the 8 dimensions of wellness, which is being referred to as the 8 pillars of wellness. I'm going to be showing you some interesting statistics that I found out. Then we'll talk about the contemporary challenges for caregivers. Then how do we care for the carer? I also looked at the place of emotional intelligence as a emotional quotient and also decency quotient in caring for ourselves as caregivers. I'll tell you about the hierarchy of wellness, the benefit of caregivers' wellness, and then we conclude. So I'm sure you have your knife, you have your cutlery ready. The food is ready so that we can eat. I have this quote from Karen Bakwiran. Karen Bakwiran is a radiation oncology technologist that practices in Canada. But interestingly, she's an intuitive healer. She wrote a book, Love Yourself, about 146 pages. And I will encourage each and every one of us to lay their hands on that book and read it. I love this quote by Karen. She said, make yourself a priority once in a while. It is not selfish, it is necessary. We're telling each and every one of us that we should actually pay attention to ourselves and spend some moment alone in a day by ourselves. Because sometimes to be alone, it is when you truly know your worth. So it is not selfish when you attend and take care of yourself. It is needed. So moving on from Karen's word, I move to the introduction. They are caregiver. Your job is important, but your wellness is much more important because sick people don't build organizations. Only healthy people will do. We cannot deliver on our corporate strategies when we are on a sick bed. One of our father in the Lord usually says, the man standing belongs to everyone, but the man dying belongs to no one. So caring for caregivers and ensuring wellness among health professionals is an essential job for all of us. And I have this to say. Your wellness, in fact, wellness generally has 3 important stakeholders. The first stakeholder is God. And in fact, without the God factor, the equation of life is not balanced. So God gives health. Our wellness is priority to God. He said, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. And the very next important person, after God, the most essential of this stakeholder is me, myself, and I, which is you. I have this, the Quran chapter 4, verse 79, interestingly says something, to those who are not Christians. He said, every good that happens to a man is from God. Everything bad is from your action. I found it very, very interesting when I saw it. So our actions and inactions have enormous impact on our wellness, albeit others' contribution. But unfortunately, it is not uncommon to see people who care for others suffer neglect, especially when they needed help the most. I've watched people who care for people all through their life. I've seen them neglected when they needed help. They're always there for people, but no one is ever there for them. And more often than not, caregivers focus on helping others while neglecting themselves. So this paper seeks to discuss wellness and how to care for these vulnerable group. How do I know that caregivers are vulnerable? COVID-19 taught me a lot of lessons. We lost a lot of people, from medical doctors to nurses to pastors. As people were told to stay at home and not visit, people visited their pastors. We don't want to mention it, but a good number of them lost their life during that period because they would not but attend programs or even attend to people. The more we are exposed to people, either physically or emotionally, the more we are also affected. So moving on. Who is a caregiver? Because you may just want to wonder, there are a lot of people either in UK, in England, or people who run away from the country now because they want to be caregivers. Is it restricted to such people? Let's hear what Johns Hopkins Medical Center has to say. According to Johns Hopkins, a caregiver is a person who is trained to assume responsibility for the physical and emotional need of another who is incapable of self-care. So it means an individual who gives care to people who need help taking care of themselves. So a caregiver in this instance is an helping professional. There are those who love to help by heart. You know, somebody told me last week, he said, I love to help people. And when I'm unable to help, it gets to me. I'm sure there's someone on this platform who would have loved to help, placing the problem of the whole world on your shoulder, but you do not have the capacity. It does a lot to you. So caregivers may be health professionals, family members, friends, social workers, even trainers who will be faced with a situation of help as you do your job, and members of the clergy, the pastor, the clergyman, the priests. They are health professionals. They are health professionals. And then caregiving can be formal, it can be informal. It is formal when it is paid for, but it is informal when it is non-stipendiary, when it's being paid for. So, and they could offer their services at home, in the hospitals, or other healthcare settings. And you can even offer this help in your clinics or in your office. So I like to ask everybody, where do you belong? I found this statement by, the former First Lady of the United States. She first said, caregiving is universal. That's Rosalind Carter. And she said, there are 4 kinds of people in this world. Number 1, those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. And then think about yourself. Where do you belong? I have a poll running, and I'm going to launch the poll so you can respond to it. The poll has been launched already. Where do you belong? There are only 4 kinds of people in the world, according to the former First Lady of the United States, that's Rosalind Carter. So where do you belong? Try and hit the link. Are you number 1? There's some people who probably, those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. There are some persons, some elderly people who are caring for their grandchildren. They are caregivers. There are doctors and nurses, there are pastors, there are preachers, psychologists, therapists. People who, okay, the poll is on. So I have a lot of people, okay, 71% are currently caregivers. Interesting, that's on this platform. That's pretty interesting. How many of us are here at them? Okay, those who have been caregivers before, 21%. Those who are currently caregivers, 71%. Those who will be caregivers, 7%. And those who will need caregivers, 0%. Some people are thinking they may just never need. That's pretty interesting. At some point in our life, when we're elderly, we will need people to care for us. So that's why Rosalind is saying caregiving is universal. Okay, the statistics is changing. 80, those who will be caregivers, 0%. But the good thing is I have a good percentage of people that I'm supposed to be talking to care, because 80% of us here are currently giving care in one way or the other. 83% are giving care. Let me end the poll right now. Thank you all for responding. I'd like to know how many people have been responding. 12 of 40. That's about 32% have participated. I wish I had more people. I know some people are at work, some may be driving. Let's go to the poll and respond. I only have 14 out of 40. I just needed more people. I'm going to close the poll in a moment because we need to move because of our time. We have a lot to discuss. So thank you very much all for responding. I'd like to end that poll now. 73% are currently caregivers. Thank you very much. So let me share the results with you. I'm sure you've seen it. Okay, and then I'll stop sharing. Thank you very much for responding to my poll. So I know where a lot of us belong and we're in the right place. Now let's go to wellness. Wellness, what is wellness? How do we define wellness? According to the Global Wellness Institute, wellness is the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. And wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical and mental health outcomes, so that instead of just striving, you are thriving. That's according to Pfizer. A good number of people around us are struggling through life. They are not thriving. So there are certain decisions we need to make concerning our life, what we eat, what we drink, how we sleep, the people we relate with, that will lead to our holistic health. And I have this to say, wellness is not a medical fix. It is a culture. It is a way of life. So how we live our life will determine how well we are. And then to add more to this definition, I have two more for us so that we have a perfect understanding. Joshua Welsh has this to say. He said, wellness is a connection of parts, two parts, knowledge and action. Because he is saying that when you get knowledge, you put that knowledge into action, applicable knowledge, and that is wisdom. So Joshua Welsh is simply saying that wellness is wisdom. So when we get all the information that we have at our disposal, do we use them to better our lots? So wellness encompasses a healthy body, a sound mind, and a tranquil spirit. That's according to Loretti Gagnon Billio. Because I tell us, we as human beings, every human being, we are tripartite in nature. We are essentially a spiritual being that lives in a body and that has a mind, which is our brain. So when someone dies, the spirit returns to the maker. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The body goes bound to the ground, dust for dust, like we always say. And where does our memory goes to? It vanishes. So as a human being, your body must cooperate with your mind, and it must also cooperate with your soul. And that's why many a times when people aren't behaving the way they should behave, we ask questions. Is there a good connection between these three? So moving on, health versus wellness. Because somebody may ask, okay, we have health, we have wellness. What is the difference between the two? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. But wellness is an active process through which people become aware of and make choices toward a more successful existence. Health is a state of being, it's a state of existence. But in wellness, it is practical, the things we do, practical way of achieving health. So the main aspect of physical health are the mental, physical, social, and even spiritual well-being. But wellness goes further, and I'll be telling us the different dimensions as we move on. So health is much more related to Western medicine, or the orthodox medicine, and wellness much more related to the complementary and sometimes alternative medicine. So health will consider mental well-being as being free from stress and other mental diseases. But wellness will focus on mindfulness, mind training, as well as in addition to general mental health. Interestingly, the ultimate goal of health that can be achieved is if a person is healthy and free from diseases. The most important thing here, in health is to return people, to treat and ensure that people go back to their pre-morbid state of wellness. You say pre-morbid state is even a state of wellness. That's a state of functionality prior to people's illness. But at the end of the day, in the long run, what is the goal of wellness? Is to be healthy. So that's the relationship between the two, whichever way we look at it. So I usually tell people wellness is health and more. So what are the 8 pillars of wellness, the 8 dimensions of wellness? We have the physical wellness, the social wellness, emotional, occupational, financial, spiritual, intellectual, and environmental. Each and every one of us must pay attention to these 8 dimensions. And let me try and, as quickly as possible, break them down for us. The first one is physical wellness. That's the ability to care for our body by consistently making healthy choices. We must eat healthy, drink healthy, do our regular exercises, brisk walk three times, at least a minimum of 30 minutes in a day, like we always say, and then people often associate physical wellness with exercises, fitness, and proper nutrition. It is much more than that. It is important that we check our vitals, the blood pressure, body mass index, level of cholesterol. Each and every one of us at some stage should have our own monitor, BP monitor, and be able to operate them and ensure that they're actually working well. If we can't do it, we must visit our physicians to be sure. If we are 40 and over, these are things we need to pay attention to. So do your annual medical checkup. It is very important for everybody. Some people use it as a birthday gift for themselves. Make sure you do something. I remember recently someone who cares for me was asking me, oh, what kind of blood pressure monitor do you have? He said, let me see. I sent her pictures. Oh, this one. I mean, there's something, you should try something better because this one may not give you an accurate figures. So these are some of the things we need to pay attention to. Then we also have social wellness. So human beings are gregarious in nature. This one is very, very much important. One of the major pointers to mental health is when people cannot build and maintain relationship. Somebody will tell me, oh, I've not been able to, I can't understand why I can't keep this relationship. What is going on with me? Am I not beautiful enough? How am I going to overcome this? There are people who initiate relationship and they cannot sustain it. That way they can't get married. Some people will get a job. They can't keep the job. Because human beings are social beings. We have cravings for relationship and networking, but they can't network. So effective social relationship give a sense of belongingness. It will boost your confidence, leading to positive self-esteem. So maintain cordial relationship with your family members, your neighbors, and then your colleague. And to everyone that is listening, your family is the first and the last line of defense. You need them. Somebody will say, what are family members for, if not for inconveniences? There's a reason why God has put you in that family. So try as much as possible to play your own role and let everyone play their own role as a family. So here is something very interesting that I want you to know for the sake of your health. Devote yourself to people who add value to you. Avoid toxic relationship. There are a lot of people who are happy with your progress. Tell them what you're doing. I have some people on this call right now. If I'm doing anything, I call them. They're just they love good things to happen to you. You need those kind of people around you, especially in the world that we have now. Is a difficult place, especially if you live in a country like Nigeria. You need those kind of people. So don't trade good friendship for anything. They said, when I becomes we, illness becomes wellness. When I becomes we, illness becomes wellness. So identify the good people in your life and then let them assist you. Then we also have next to it is emotional wellness, which is the ability to handle life stresses and adapt to change successfully. There are a lot of people who are not able to cope. Somebody will say, well, I'm leaving my job. Why are you quitting your job? Have you gotten another one? They haven't gotten anyone. They just tell you that they have a mental breakdown and they just want to clear their head. So emotional wellness is choosing how we respond to events and our thoughts. And I tell people, how we respond to events is much more important than the event itself. Let me say it again. How we respond to events is much more important than the event itself. I'll give you an example. I think it was sometimes in February. Cash was very, we had this paucity of cash in Nigeria. Someone said, oh, this period has helped me to save a lot of money. I do not carry cash around. And another person is saying, oh, whatever the government is doing has crumpled my business, and I do not think that this business will rise again. And some people at that period, they were able to save. They moved to other platforms. We started hearing names of banks that we have, online banks that we have never heard before. People, some were able to move on. So how we respond is better. And our lives will be determined by our thoughts. And many a times, the things we think do not come to pass. So all your thoughts are not true, and they won't be true. So be careful not to allow those thoughts, those long rumination, those overthinking lead you to what you are not supposed to be. So be in control of your thoughts, because your thoughts will determine your feelings and your actions. So emotional wellness will inspire the self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, and development of your inner strength. And then we move to occupational wellness. I'm sure this one is important for everybody. When you are well occupationally, it means you are pursuing a career path that supports your goals or your professional growth and success. There was a poll some years back in Nigeria where it was discovered that 85% of Nigerians are not happy with what they are doing. They are only doing it for the sake of the money. If it's for money's sake alone, to get to a point in your life that money will no longer be it. Job satisfaction, fulfillment is what you have to look out for. Somebody relocated recently and he was telling me, oh, if the country was good, I would have stayed behind because I was earning well. But I couldn't see the future for my children. I couldn't see the future for myself, insecurity, traffic in Lagos, and then he left. So your happiness within, with and within work. We used to have work-life balance, but now it's work-life harmony because we know we can't balance it. Are you going to give 80% or 50% to work? And just ensure harmony, that there is peace at work and there's also joy at home. So are you happy with your job? Do you feel you have prospects and a serving purpose? Do you have a safe work environment with understanding colleagues and boss who respect your personal opinion? What about psychological safety? Where you work, can you give your opinion without anybody misquoting you? Or without anybody thinking that you are looking for a position? Or it's just been overly ambitious. Why does he have to be the one talking? Then does your job offer you opportunities for personal development and professional growth? If you leave the job you're doing right now, will you be able to do something that will still fetch you money? Or God forbid, if one gets sacked, will life continue or life end? Remember, people build organizations before organizations will now build people. Let me move on to financial wellness. It's the ability to meet basic needs and manage money for the short and long term. How is your finances? Stability, income, expenses, debt, savings, and investment. A major way to achieve financial wellness is through financial literacy. And much more importantly, each and every one of us should cut our coats according, to our fabric. Live within your means. In fact, in Nigeria, nobody will even teach you that one. Take action and then be disciplined. Focus on what is most important to you and do it. No excesses. So number 6, your spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness is defined, let's pay attention, as expanding a sense of purpose and meaning in life. It includes your moral, the ethics. It may or may not involve religious activities. Because when we hear spiritual, so that's religion, not exactly. So it means having a personal value and belief and acting compassionately in accordance with those values. So it should not be mistaken for religiosity, as I mentioned. So it has to do with your beliefs and your value system. Then connect with someone higher than you. A spiritually able person will seek meaning and harmony between what's life within, as well as the forces around and outside. I remember the word of Rollo May. A clinical psychologist who has worked a lot on depression. He said the reason why a lot of people are depressed is the inability to construct a future for themselves. The inability to find meaning in life. Like, why am I here? The inability to find purpose. That's why a lot of people are depressed. Because when they look inward, they can't find the reason why they are still living. So they begin to ask you, should I even be here? Am I important? People are looking for validation here and there. And when you don't have your own personal validation, I doubt if others can give you any validation. And in Nigeria and on the streets here, when they tell you you are on your own, I mean, it's a negative validation. And before you know it, some people plunge themselves into the river by what we say. So we have to be very, very careful by telling people, oh, why, oh, even if they are really, they don't have to hear it from you. So let me move on. Because of our time, we still have a lot to do. Intellectual wellness, this one is very, very critical. Like, as we're talking now, we are engaging in mentally stimulating activities. There are certain things that you know before, but I have reminded you. There are some things that you may not know that you now know. So intellectual wellness is the ability to engage in mentally stimulating activity in order to expand knowledge. And it is important that we do it as human beings. The mind must be stimulated continually, like bodily exercise. So, because that wellness it's what will inspire creativity and critical thinking. It's either you read a book. Now we have audio books. It makes it a lot easier. Even the Bible, read it in audio, and then you can cover a lot. Learn a new skill, explore new ideas, ask questions, engage in cognitive activity games. And those who do that regularly, I mean, you'll be safe from neither dementia or those adult challenges that people have. So nurture your intellectual wellness. Be a lifelong learner. And that's what Sages and Scribes always does for us when this Connect and Learn program comes up. We join in and we learn new things because all of us, we are lifelong learners. There's no end to education and learning. And finally, environmental awareness. Oh my goodness, when you go around Lagos, you realize that we have a lot of challenges across these lines. The gutters are filled with all manners of things, urinating within their environment. In fact, the way we build our houses, there's no space for breathing. We need fresh air, but we're not getting enough. So this environmental awareness is that we are the awareness of an unstable state of the heart and the effect of our daily habits on the physical environment. Even lightning, we don't get enough. People who will build house, we put on the bulb all through the day because the house is always dark. Your windows is covered by your neighbor. And so you can't even enjoy sunlight, the good vitamin D that comes in the morning. For those who have the opportunity to build their houses that way, you have some space, you have some fresh lighting, it is good for you. God created us with plants. If you have the opportunity, plant some things around your house. It's a blessing to you. So everyone should strive to live environmentally well, appreciate and be mindful of the earth's natural resources, afforestation, gardening, conserving energy, aid environmental wellness. Where I sit here in this home office, I have this small garden beside me here. Bitter leaf is there. You know, bitter leaf is Aesop. Very, very good. And as people come in, I mean, they see that first. It has a lot of impact on your mental. So for as much as possible as you can, preserve the natural habitat. So having dealt with the different dimensions of wellness, on caregiving, because generally when we speak, somebody may even want to ask, what is this care that this guy is talking about? So to care, that's the provision of what is necessary for health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of someone or something. So to care is to look after people, to take care of them, to look after yourself, to guard, to protect, and to nurse. And much more importantly, caring is even paying attention, not looking away. You know, Nigeria, we just have a way of looking away. You know, somebody is in an accident scene, you see people taking pictures and uploading it on Facebook, rather than calling for help. We look away, you know. But like the Good Samaritan, we should learn to care. So I found this statistics very interesting. Caregivers whose care recipient has emotional or mental health problems are more likely than others to report a decline in their own health. Did you see that? That's why we need to pay attention to caregivers. That's 25% versus 14, according to the National Alliance for Caregiving and AARP. Then Zarit in 2006 carried out a particular study. And here is the 40 to 70% of family caregivers have clinically significant symptoms of depression. If we're all caregivers, let us pay attention, because people tell you sub stories, and if you don't have a way of dealing with it, it can cause you to have your own challenges. Then I look at the gender demography now. Females, 16%, more than males, 11%, report being more stressed while performing caregiving responsibilities. And then caregivers who work full-time and are aged 45 years or less show the greatest emotional and physical health deficit, in contrast to non-caregivers. That's according to Gallup Health Ways. That's 2011. And I found this one very interesting as I looked at it. Is this about 75% of caregivers pray regularly to cope with the demands of their caregiving responsibility. Sure, majority of us here do that. And I found that as well. What is the content of their prayers? I went into more research and I discovered that the content of their prayers include requests for strength to handle caregiving duties. That's 73.8%. Then guidance to manage caregiving demands, 48.2%. Some expression of gratitude, divine intervention, and then forgiveness, because forgiveness is even one of the major pathways to wellness. You ask for God forgiveness, ask for forgiveness for other people, and you should also forgive yourself. So that's a study on religious coping in caregivers of family members with dementia. Just somebody will wonder, now, wow, caregiver, with all these research. Anyways, 70% of caregivers say they turn to friends and family members for information. Friends and family members. Care or support, compared with 54% of non-caregivers who do same, either online or offline. So 30% of caregivers say they turn to others who have same health condition. Those who have gone through it before, they can better advise. So that's according to Pew Research Center. So what are the contemporary challenges for caregivers? Number one, a culture of blame. We live in an environment where people blame, they can blame their doctor, blame their nurses. They blame the therapist for many times for their predicament. Some may even fail to use their medication. Some may decide not to do what they are supposed to do. And when things go wrong, you will be the object of all those doctors and nurses. Oh, medical negligence, people, there's a culture of blame around for helping professionals. Even when you are helping genuinely, when things go wrong, people will point accusing fingers at you. The number two, we have career versus family harmony. How do you cope with your own family, with yourself? Many times we neglect our family members. We pay attention to others. We hug our patients and our clients. When last did you hug your own wife and your own children? Think again. And then we have the caregiver burden. There are a lot of us who are burdened by, as you go through the day, you look at what people are going through, and you are overwhelmed by it. It's a challenge. And then this one, very interesting, compassion fatigue. This is happening to a lot of caregivers. What does it mean? The fact that you have seen a lot of people go through a lot of negative things. So you've developed fatigue for such things. So whether people get well or not, you are less concerned. And so as a priest, maybe you have celebrated a lot of burials, you have seen people die. So when people now die, it means less to you. Become so stoic. As a human being, it is equally not good for us. You must give the right emotion so that you know what to do. Our time is fast spent. I need to really run now. We have workload, burnout, and stress. There's presenteeism. Some people are physically present, but are psychologically absent. I mean, you are here. Lots of you now, probably you are here in Nigeria, but you have a time. You want to be somewhere else. What about quiet quitting, quiet firing, and even quiet hiring? A lot is going on. Poor healthcare, infrastructure, welfare, economy. It's not easy to train a therapist or a doctor. Trust me, it is not easy. Then what about migration? The Japaism is affecting everybody. So we now have one person doing like 4 people's job. Information overload. That's why when you see a therapist now, you have to be sure that they are really listening to you. Self-medication, use of substances. Some without a medication, they can't even sleep. It's not good for you, especially when it's not prescribed, you know. Rise in mental health challenges, then there's quackery. You don't know who to go to. There are a lot of people who front as what they are not. Then there's negligence, either medically or whichever way. Education and training costs, which I have mentioned. So now, how can we care for the caregivers? Almost getting there, hopefully we'll finish soon. Caring for the caregiver. Number one, if you are a caregiver, please pay attention to yourself and care for yourself. You are the only one who can know what is happening to you. I can remember someday I was given a particular medication from the clinic, and when I took it, I felt that there's something about this. I haven't felt this way before. Immediately I reported. So it was an overdose. That could be a kill. So pay attention to your body and be sure what is going on to you. And then number two, ask for help from competent professionals and trusted people. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. So many a times you have a challenge, you have a problem, you're brooding over it. When I say I'm sleeping over it, when you are sleeping over it, you wake up in the morning, look for a solution. There's a way through which you can find help even while asleep. You put the problem in your hand, don't put it in your heart. Hopefully you wake up and the next person you call will have a solution to that problem you've been dealing with. So talk to people that can be trusted. They still are available, and those who are competent as well. And then the next thing you need to do, number three, never hoard helpful information. If there's any information that's going to be able to help your therapist, don't ever hoard it. My mom will always tell me this adage that you don't hide your body for the person that will bury you. So give information that will help to take care of you. Then number four, refer cases you cannot handle. Don't try to play God. Don't be a jack of all trades. It's a major problem in our time. Everybody is a generalist. Everybody does everything. No. Know your boundaries and refer when the cases are beyond you. Don't just work for the money and say, no, I'm going to charge these people, I'm going to collect this and that. Refer to people. Then number five, have your own therapist and keep to the intervention plan. Every doctor must have a doctor. Every priest must have a priest. If you're a woman here, if you're planning to give birth, even if you're a medical doctor, you know, I'm sure you know somebody you want to be present there. Oh, I want this particular person to attend to me. I would love if this person is there. And as a caregiver, follow the intervention plan. It is important so that you can achieve your pre-morbid state. And that's why a lot of people, when they are sick, they don't get back to where they used to be before because they do not follow thoroughly what they are supposed to do. The number six, cultivate your own garden and tend it. Somebody said something that you should drink water regularly. That is that when you drink water, you urinate more, and that way you won't have time for gossip. That's interesting. But that's just on a lighter note. Have your own business, have your own job, and then do it. Minding one's business is a full-time job. So do it. Don't pay attention to things that will distract you because you have a lot in your hand to do. Then embrace humor therapy. For as much as possible, for me, I do 30 minutes of comedy every day. I find the things that will make me laugh and happy. If I can't find the therapy, I listen to music. Music is my music therapy for me. I love music. That's what I used to calm myself down. In this Nigeria, it helps me a lot. I don't know what helps you. Find it and do it. Don't hear only the sub stories. Hear things that will lift your soul. Practice catharsis. There are many people who will tell me, oh, I can't find somebody to talk to. People are not trusting. Go out very early in the morning. Just speak to the atmosphere. Talk to your God. Say your mind. In form of prayer. I do it. I call it prayer work or holy work. It is very good. And as you're saying it, is leaving your mind. Less stress for your brain. And when you're sure enough you have somebody to speak with, please do. The assistant you needed may be in somebody's. And as a caregiver, please let us manage transference. This one is very key. Your clients can transfer whatever issues they have. You know, so when clients begin to see you as their dad or as their girlfriend or as their husband, at that point, you must manage it well to overcome any form of scandal. I've seen therapists enter some form of scandal, and that way their practice has come to an end. Immediately you notice transparency, if you can't handle, refer immediately. Don't play God. Then number 10, practice gratitude. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and they say it will surprise you what the Lord has done. I know in our climb, we like to count difficulties and challenges, but count your blessings as well. That you are even here listening to me. It is a blessing. You slept and woke up. It is a blessing. So count it, name them one after the other. And then he's still caring for the cat guy. I found this quote. He said, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. For us as caregivers, let us care for ourselves and also pay attention to ourselves. I looked at because anytime I speak about a particular situation, I like to look at some psychological construct that could help. So, and that's why I try to add the place of emotional intelligence to caring. If you are not emotionally intelligent, there's no way you can care for another person. A person who is not emotionally intelligent doesn't get the dog. You don't pay attention to other people's emotion. Do you understand, or can you manage your own emotions? Somebody will tell me, I got up from the wrong side of the bed. Okay. But when you are at work, you can't exhibit that. So if you have subordinates, if you have people working with you, either in the hospital, wherever you are, do you know how they feel? Do you know what their emotions mean? Do you know how these emotions can affect other people, thereby using this knowledge in managing relationships? So if somebody is not emotionally stable, it will be difficult for them to even care for patients. So to build and sustain positive relationships, we must be able to identify, understand, describe, predict, and modify psychological signals of emotions. That way, we can better care for ourselves. Look at these faces. Very soon, I'll be closing, so I have a lot to say today. Lord, help me. Look at these faces. Do you pay attention to your colleague, how they feel? Even you, when you visit a therapist, do you know when they are calm? Either they are happy. Sometimes a client can even be silly. You ask them questions, they are saying something else. But you won't say to their face that they are silly. If a client is being silly, you call them by their name. Chief, so and so. Mr. I'm here to assist you. Please, can you give me the following information? I need this record to be able to know what medication to prescribe if you are a pharmacist, to be able to know what, diagnosis or the intervention if you are a therapist. When people are nervous, you calm them down. That's not the time to give somebody an injection, When somebody is angry and fuming, that's not the time to present your bill or your invoice. When a patient is sleepy, what do? When somebody is surprised at your service, that's when you present another service. When people are relaxed and cool, they are calm, then you can tell them the bad news. And somebody, news breaking is even another thing on its own. So pay attention to this emotion. Make sure you get the dogs. If you don't get the dogs, you can't care for people. We must be able to look at our face. If you don't even know they look face, like we say on the road in Lagos, I know they look face. If you know they look face, you can't care for anybody. Trust me. So moving on, that's the emotional intelligence. And he has 5 pillars: the self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation. One thing that is very important there is empathy, meaning putting other people's in your own shoe. As a health professional, I beg each and every one of us, do not be competitive. Let us complement one another. It is a collaborative effort. As a pastor and as a clinical psychologist, if I see that this thing I can't do, I have doctors I refer to, I have pharmacists on my role, I have them immediately. I refer. Because if you are pushing the patient as yourself, if that person is your wife or your son or your daughter, will you behave differently? That's where empathy comes in, and it is very, very important. And that's why Ajabanga has this to say about decency quotient, which is also equally important in order to care. Let's note it. We can read about it later. It implies a person has not only empathy for his colleagues, but also has genuine desire to care. a genuine desire to care for someone, because people in the helping profession, we lost a lot of doctors and nurses during COVID. These are people who take care of other people. And as a health professional, your life is important to us. We love you. We need you to be alive. So many a times when we are asking you questions, answer us. When you ask me too, you know, I will answer. Some people say, I hope you are sleeping. Hey, Reverend, I hope you are getting enough rest. I hope you are not bothered. Don't just move on. Ask people. If you ask people, are you okay? They tell you they are okay. In being okay, they are depressed, they are broke, they are busted. But ask them, are you coping adequately? So let's check on ourselves. May the Lord help us. So before we conclude, I want us to look at this video. I don't know how much time we have. This is 12 o'clock already. Let's watch this video. I'm actually at the concluding part now. Let's watch this video. Would a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant? Look at that video. This person has been dreading this appointment, fears he waited too long. "19-year-old son on life support." Look at how people are feeling. So do you feel concerned? Do you show interest? Too shocked to comprehend what's going on? Waiting 3 hours. Husband is terminally ill. So within that hospital setting, too many people going through different things. So this will make us know that care is more than just healing. It's building a connection that encompasses the mind, the body, and soul, like I've mentioned. So if you could stand in someone else's shoes, hear what they hear, see what they see, feel what they feel, will you treat them differently? This is courtesy of Cleveland Clinic. It's in the public space. Hoping to hold that today. Just sign here now. Always wanted a child of our own. Here's all's better, finally. If you could stand in someone else's shoes. So Caregivers, what do we need in a nutshell? In a nutshell, we need support. This is like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Some of us, we need support at every level. Family members, friends, colleagues. Some will need treatment. Some of us, we need to sleep. We are always sleep deprived. So take time out to sleep. Then what's your coping strategies? Are you an escapist coper? Or you rather stay, some people say, I'm walking away from my trouble. I remember that song, I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away. Oh, find a better place. I sang that in secondary school. But you never know where you're walking to, what you will meet there. Build a healthy relationship with your family, friends, and other colleagues. Love yourself. Self-love. That's philotia. Self-transcendence. Find your space in life and do it. Care for yourself. Humor, empathy, rest, hope. For those who are just joining us, that's in a summary what and more that is needed to care for health care, for helping professional. And what are the benefits? There will be improved care, decreased care costs, increased engagement. That's the benefit if we care for ourselves. There will be reduced negligence. If you are also good, you'll be able to attend to people very well. Increased productivity. Sometimes when I sleep better, I get to do more. But there are times we shut down our head just like we close our laptop. Better workplace relationship, reduced stress, sense of fulfillment, improved quality of life. Having said all this, in conclusion, what would you start doing? What would you stop doing? What are you doing now that is right and is helping you? Continue to do it. Plan to continue to do it. Thank you for everybody for joining. And to all our caregivers, I say a special thank you to you all. Thank you to Sages and Scribes and Venerable and everyone for having me. And now, questions, answers, observations, or comments. God bless you all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for a good delivery, Bode. It's awesome. Well done, well done, well done. Now it's time for you to comment. There are quite a few in the chat box. Let me read one or two. Chibuzo says, oh, okay, people are dropping. Modupe Babalola, happy birthday to you, ma. Thanks for an impactful presentation. God bless you. Your guns and mentor, Oga Belusi says, thanks, Bode. The need for self-love is so key. Caregivers need to also seek care and support when they need it. John Oduchume. Self-care is the bedroom.
John Oduchume also is my colleague.
Oh, okay. Self-care is the bedrock of effective caregiving. Well delivered, Reverend Daramola. Your friend Moji Ogunkoya says, thank you so much, Reverend Bode. Well, there are no questions. People are just appreciating you for a good delivery. Thank you. We are glad to have you on this call. It is also important to let people know that we are planning the first EAP summit in Nigeria to hold on the 2nd and 3rd of August. Physical is a hybrid summit. Physically, it will be staged at the building. I noticed that one of our senior colleagues, the Venerable Adeniji, is in the house. I acknowledge you. Oh, Bode, you are also speaking to Radi, the incoming president of EAP South Africa.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for joining, sir. Venerable Abiade, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Tolulope is Aloy is in the house. Stephen Adebi is in the house.
Rotolu, thank you. Those are my people.
Do I see Olumide Ajomale? Olumide is joining us from the UK.
Okay. Somebody is asking a question here. He said,
Yeah.
what are the various aspects of caregiver? Because I know you are not a doctor. Yes, when we started, we actually noted that. So caregiving today, as we see, is there are people, these are helping professionals, those who provide care for people. So a caregiver is an individual who gives care to people who need help taking care of themselves. So caregivers, they are not only health professionals, they can be family members. At some point in time, when people are sick, family members need to support them, or they are aged people. They are supported by their family members. Even your friends sometimes can provide care for you, social workers, and even members of the clergy. So caregiving, as it were, we're talking about helping professionals, those who help people in terms of their physical and emotional health. So when we say caregivers, it is not just only nurses, quote and unquote, or people who bear the name specifically. Because I've seen people who are even trainers, but at some point, I know Venerable Adelowo once had an experience. He may not want to share it with us, where he was training and then something happened. He had to be in a role, to provide support for that person. So there are times that even as a caregiver, you pay attention, you get information, then you call for help. So, and sometimes I'm sure that person understands what we're saying here. So you don't have to necessarily be a medical doctor to provide care.
I actually, one of the comments you made that I really like is that grandparents looking after their grandchildren, they are caregivers. Well, again and again and again, we want to thank all of you for being part of this month, Connect and Learn. We're doing this because you do connect. If you are not connecting, we won't be able to do it effectively.
Sorry, excuse me, sir. Somebody is asking a question, and I would just like to respond to it. That's Oluchuku. He says, please, sir, how do a caregiver handle a client who is physically abusive to the carer? Probably, maybe this person is a paid caregiver. Caregiving can be formal and informal. It's either you are a paid caregiver or a non-paid caregiver. If you are a paid caregiver, of course, there's a contract you would have signed. And part of the contract must be to even protect you. So if a client is physically assaulting you, you must respond. You must communicate. Tell your employer. It is important as much as possible so that you are protected. And you also watch your back. Because it is only when you are alive that you can care for people. And there are times that even your family members have seen people or clients who are badly suffering from some form of depression or another. I give you a critical example. While I trained in the neuropsychiatric hospital, a patient almost strangled me. But it was good that I paid enough attention. That's why sometimes you just cannot look away. I saw her almost coming on me, and I spoke to her in a way she would understand. And everything came down, and then we're able to sort out whatever the problem is. But at that point in time, if you are not able to handle it, what do? You run for your dear life. And that's why in the consulting room, there shouldn't be just one exit. Ordinarily, it should be two, so that in case there are issues, you are able to take your exits. But please do not keep quiet because of money when you are being assaulted. Report, because if you die in the process, it becomes a problem. May God keep us all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's 12:15. One Mojisola introduce the presenter, let me call on another Mojisola Ogunkoya to thank our speaker on behalf of Sages and Scribes Consultant. Would you please do us the honor of thanking Reverend Bode Daramola?
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone on this call. Thank you for your time. I know you have other things that you'll have used this time for, but we just want to thank you for joining us. And to our speaker, Reverend Bode, thank you for always doing a great job. So I'm not surprised. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. For those of you who have dropped your email address, you will get the recording, and we will put you on our mailing list for the monthly invitation to the Connect and Learn series. I want to thank you and thank you all again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a productive remaining part of the day. God bless you immensely.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for joining. God bless you all. Venerable Agbelusi, thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir. Venerable Abiade, their father, God bless you, sir. Busola Fadeon, thank you for joining. Eniola Utman, Miss Shoshino, thank you. Mr. Jide Additional, Bro Jude Ezemagu, wow, thank you. Mildred, thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciate you.
Well done, sir. God bless you.
Amen. You too, sir.
This Reverend
By the way, let me thank the people at the back end.
Reverend Emmanuel Okuchi, thank you so much for joining. That's one of our priests. I just saw his name.
Anyhow, buddy, greetings from across the ocean.
Ah, by Augusta. Swally for you, sir.
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very well done.
How is the caregiving job in England?
You mean the money-making job in England?
There are other people who, as a doctor, I would have loved him to speak to us, but I'm sure he's very, very busy. So he has gone off.
Okay, then.
A very busy person is gone. Extremely in demand. Thank you, everyone. Brad Desoro, thank you.
Well done, sir. I appreciate that.
Mao. Amari Bao.